It started with a box of old VHS tapes. Cleaning out my grandfather's dusty attic after he died, I stumbled upon a worn cardboard carton shoved under a stack of mildewed blankets. Most were labeled, faded titles like Christmas '87 or Sarah's Birthday. But one stood out. It was a blank black tape, no label, just a faint, greasy smudge near the top. A cold curiosity, like a slug crawling up my spine, urged me to take it. Back in my apartment, I dug out an ancient VCR, blowing dust from its vents. The screen crackled to life, a flurry of static giving way to a familiar scene, my own living room. But it was empty. The furniture was arranged slightly differently, a lamp missing. Then a figure entered. It looked like me, exactly like me. Same clothes, same hair, but it moved wrong. Jerky, too fluid, like a puppet's whose strings were being handled by an impatient child. It paced, stopped, touched the wall with an almost reverent, sickening slowness. My blood ran cold. This wasn't me. It couldn't be. I watched for an hour, mesmerized. The figure started performing bizarre, repetitive actions, opening and closing a book, stroking the TV screen, whispering to empty air. The whispers were too faint to decipher, but they filled the silence with a thick, suffocating dread. I dismissed it as a prank, a doppelganger, but the sense of unease, of being fundamentally wrong, burrowed into my chest. Over the next few days, I couldn't stop watching the tape. Each time, something shifted. The figure on screen became subtly less human. Its eyes widened, unnaturally black, like spilled ink. Its limbs elongated, stretching and retracting with a silent, sickening pop that I could almost hear. My own body began to feel unfamiliar. My reflection in the mirror seemed to hold its gaze a beat too long, a strange, knowing glint in its eyes. I'd wake up with phantom pains, a dull ache in my joints, as if something inside me was trying to rearrange itself. One evening, as the figure on the tape began to peel its own face back, revealing not flesh, but glistening internal landscape of knotted sinews and black, pulsing veins beneath, I screamed. The sound that came from the television was not my scream, but the guttural, wet gurgle of the thing on screen. Its jaw unhinged, impossibly wide, and from the chasm my own voice echoed, whispering the words I'd heard on the tape, the words I hadn't been able to decipher. Any other self, any other thought becomes static. That night, I tried to destroy the tape. I ripped it from the VCR, intending to snap it, burn it, but my hands wouldn't obey. They hovered, shaking, as if possessed by a will not my own. Then a sharp, burning pain erupted in my right index finger. I looked down to see the skin blistering, then sloughing off, revealing bone and muscle beneath, not red and bloody, but an oily, iridescent black. It was precisely how the figure on the tape had lost its finger frames earlier. I stared at the screen again, tears streaming down my face, not from sorrow, but from a profound, alien terror. The figure on the tape, which was no longer a figure, but a pulsating, shifting mass of raw biological corruption, raised its head, its maw open. From its throat, a new sound emerged, a faint, barely audible click, followed by the whirring of a VCR. The screen in the tape's world flickered, displaying a new scene. It showed me, sitting on my couch, watching a tape, watching this tape. My eyes in the reflection on the screen, within the screen, were wide with horror, mirroring my exact expression now. But then those eyes began to sink, to blacken, to dilate into inky voids, just like the figure on the tape had done. My skin began to ripple, my bones to ache, a deep, resonant click sounding from within my own chest. I wasn't watching a recording of a past possession. I was the next tape. The blank cassette, the static, the whispers, they weren't signals from it, but of it. Each time I watched, I was playing out the assimilation, the slow, agonizing overwrite. I was merely the current echo, the latest broadcast of a consciousness being devoured. The final frame on the tape filled the screen entirely. My own face, but no longer human. A smile, wider than any human jaw could allow, stretched across my disintegrating features, revealing rows of needle-like teeth, and behind those teeth, a profound, unblinking blackness. The click echoed again, louder this time, inside my skull, and I felt my own smile mirror the one on the screen, irreversible and utterly without joy. The static sang a lullaby, the last lullaby of my forgotten self.